let's talk about a word you hear everywhere these days: narcissism. It's tossed around as an insult, a pop psychology diagnosis, a label for pretty much anyone who takes a selfie. But what it actually means? Well, that's often completely misunderstood. And that's what we're going to break down in this explainer. Yeah, I'm guessing a lot of us have been there. And that's exactly why we need to get past the casual name calling and really understand what's going on. Because here's the secret. True narcissism isn't about self-love at all, not even close. It's usually a mask for the exact opposite. So first things first, you gotta understand that narcissism isn't like a light switch. It's not just on or off. It's more like a dimmer switch, whole spectrum of behaviors. On one end of this spectrum, you've got people who are, just kind of difficult, a little arrogant and self-centered. But then you slide all the way to the other end, and you're talking about people who are genuinely coercive, exploitative, and honestly just deeply unsettling to be around. And that leads us to probably the single most important point we're going to make today. This is the one distinction that I think clears up almost all the confusion out there. So think of it like this. On one side, you have narcissistic traits. That's just a descriptive word, right? Like calling someone chatty or stubborn. It's not a diagnosis. But then on the other side, you have narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD. And that is a formal clinical diagnosis right out of the DSM-5, the official manual for mental health professionals. So what exactly are these traits we're talking about? Well, it's that pattern of grandiosity, this inflated sense of being better than everyone else. It's a bottomless pit of a need for admiration, a real lack of empathy, like they just can't put themselves in your shoes, and a huge sense of entitlement. But here's the real kicker. Underneath all that bravado is usually a profound and deep-seated insecurity. Now, for it to jump from just having traits to being a full-blown disorder, a few things have to happen. A person has to check off at least 5 out of 9 specific boxes in the official criteria, and this pattern has to be causing serious problems in their life, at work, in their relationships. But here's the wild part. They rarely think they're the problem. Oh no, it's always someone else's fault. My partner is too sensitive. My boss is an idiot. It's never them. And check this out. This is where it gets really interesting when you look at the numbers. Having some of these traits, actually pretty common. We're talking maybe 1 in 5 people might show some of them. But having the actual clinical disorder, NPD, way, way rarer. We're talking maybe 1 to 5 people out of 100. That's a huge difference. But here's the thing. Narcissism isn't one size fits all. It actually comes in different flavors, if you will. And knowing the difference is a game changer. So let's look at the 2 big ones you're most likely to run into. All right, first up, the overt narcissist. You can also call them the grandiose type. This is the one you probably picture in your head, the stereotype, the classic. These are the people who are loud and proud about how amazing they are. They're obsessed with status, with power, with being the smartest or best-looking person in the room. They come across as arrogant, they feel entitled to everything, and oh boy, do not try to criticize them. It does not go well. But then you have the complete opposite. The covert or vulnerable narcissist. And this one is so much harder to see coming. Their ego is just as big, but they hide it. It's all happening behind the scenes. On the surface, they might even seem shy or self-deprecating, but don't be fooled. It's a strategy. They use manipulation, they use blame, they use guilt trips, and they constantly play the victim. It's that poor me routine, and it's all designed to get the same validation and attention they crave. It's a very subtle form of control that works by making you feel sorry for them. So there you have it, the key difference right there. The overt one is shouting from the rooftops, "I'm the greatest." Their sense of superiority is right out in the open. But the covert one, they're whispering, "Everyone's so unfair to me," to make you think they're special. It's the same goal, just a totally different playbook. So why does all of this matter? Why do we even need to know the difference? Well, it's simple, really. It's about protecting yourself. Because when you can spot these patterns, you have the power. You can manage these really difficult situations without getting pulled under. And here is probably the most powerful takeaway of all. Once you see the pattern, you can stop taking the behavior personally. You realize, wait a minute, this isn't about me at all. This is about their fragile ego. And that right there, that gives you the freedom to set boundaries, to say no, and to protect yourself from manipulation, whether it's the loud, in-your-face kind or the quiet, insidious kind. You know, the psychologist Dr. Ramani Durvasula put it perfectly. She said this, and it just nails it. What we see as this huge, arrogant, inflated ego on the outside is really just a shell, covering up a massive emptiness, self-doubt, and even self-loathing on the inside.
So we'll leave you with a question to think about. Which one of these patterns, the loud and overt or the quiet and covert, has been tougher for you to deal with in your own life? Just something to reflect on. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.